This woman has experienced the advantages and disadvantages of globalization firsthand. Marlies Wiesner is now firmly in the driving seat and enjoying her new position, even though it meant learning a new profession. Until 2007, she was working on an assembly line at BenQ's mobile phone factory in Bochum. Then the plug was pulled on over 3,000 employees. Marlies Wiesner was there when Taiwan-based BenQ bought Siemens' mobile phone division in 2005, and then a year later promptly decided to shut it down. The German workforce felt both powerless and betrayed, classic symptoms of globalization. The European Union has at least come to the aid of workers there and elsewhere in the shape of its Globalization Adjustment Fund.
I actually always believed I'd find another job, but I never dreamed it would be driving a truck.
It might surprise some to learn that BenQ stands for bringing enjoyment and quality to life. But in a way, the company's controversial strategy has indeed opened up new opportunities for Marlies Wiesner. Her hourly wage may have dropped from €14 to €8.50, but at least she now has a proper professional qualification. And of all people to deliver this miracle, she hardly expected them to be those much maligned bureaucrats sitting in Brussels. Two years ago, European Commission President José Manuel Barroso announced a new initiative to help redress the damage done on the continent by globalization. The idea was to retrain those laid off and reintroduce them to the working world. Regions especially hard hit were singled out. There have already been successful cases. Carla dos Santos Martins also used to work on an assembly line in Portugal. The EU fund enabled her to open a riding school. A promising new beginning. Carla used to work at the General Motors plant in Azambuja. It's hard to believe there was a functioning car factory here a short time ago. It was the sudden end of an era for 1,000 workers.
There were special courses at the job center. We learned about invoicing and other important issues for business owners. The instructors also analyzed our approach to dealing with employees. In the seminars, we learned how to assess our own business acumen and how to deal with problems. We also looked at how we responded to crisis situations and how to keep your head above water and get back into business.
When word came from Brussels that help was on its way, Carla and 4 of her colleagues were among the beneficiaries. It was the stuff of fairy tales. There are countless other not-so-fortunate globalization victims, of course. But the money from Brussels does give national job centres a little more leeway. And now the EU has more ambitious plans.
We have made it easier to use. You need fewer redundancies in order to access the fund. Normally it was 1,000 people who have had to lose their jobs. Now it's 500, so it's easier to use the fund. We have increased the percentage with which the Commission co-finances the actions from 50 to 65%. And we have made it possible to intervene not just for globalization, but also for people who've lost their jobs because of the economic and financial crisis.
Nouzonville, a town in northwest France, is quieter than it used to be. In 2007, an American investor took over an auto parts supplier and then closed it soon after, despite opposition from the almost 300-strong workforce. Paolo Abi wonders if he'll ever find paid work again. But thanks to Brussels, at least he still gets 80% of his old wage and is being retrained in robotics. Now 56, he would still have a chance should job vacancies arise.
Math, physics and algebra are tough if you've left school at 14. And then there's all the new technology in today's factories and the automation. I'm really struggling. And so when I discovered this training course, I took my chance.
Marlies Wiesner and Carla dos Santos Martins are proof of the fund's promise. It still has to cover the cost of retraining and re-employing 800,000 people, and there are no guarantees about the quality, pay and security of the new jobs. Marlies Wiesner is happy, however. Meanwhile, the juggernaut of globalization drives on, even if nobody is sure in which direction.